Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Alp Bora. Welcome to my channel where I discuss with the industry leaders on how we can achieve sustainability in mining. Today, I'm very happy to introduce my guest, John Passalacqua, the CEO of First Phosphate. First Phosphate is a Canadian mineral development company based in Quebec, and it's fully dedicated to extracting and purifying phosphate into purified phosphoric acid that will be used in the lithium iron phosphate battery technology, or LFP. Hi, John. How are you?
Yeah, very good, Alp. Thanks for having me.
Please tell us more about First Phosphate.
Yeah, so as you said, First Phosphate is a mineral development company that was fully dedicated to extracting phosphate for the production of LFP cathode active material that goes into LFP batteries. We plan to integrate vertically with major partners in a very prudent fashion to go all the way from mine to the production of LFP cathode active material.
And last time we spoke, it was earlier this year in 2023, and you guys just went public. Congratulations. That's a big achievement. What are some updates since then?
Yeah, there's been quite a few since then. So the second thing that we did is that we listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. So now we are listed on the CSE as a ticker symbol PHOS, and on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange as KDO. We also launched our preliminary economic assessment at La Colorignal. That was in 43101. So we have a PEA that's ongoing. We hope to finish that by Q4. That was announced shortly after we listed. We began our drilling program at Bégin-La-Marche, and we started to get some drill results. That's our second property, very promising, 75 kilometers from the deep sea port, finding some, very long phosphate strike zones with some very good grades, some of the best grades ever found in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region. So we will be we've already reported two of our series of drill holes, and we'll be recording the final for the whole program here in the next couple of weeks. We also had two mineralogical studies done at La Colorignal that were published. The first one was from the University of Queens, certifying that yes, the deposit is low in sulfur and in other trace metals, and that it could be a good mine to operate on an ESG scale, which is really important. There are no mines on the ESG scale in phosphate anywhere in the world, so we might very well be the first, and that we are suitable for the LFP battery, which is great. LFP battery uses phosphate, but this will be a new source that doesn't compete with food, which is even better. And it being an igneous source, we can create a very high amount of purified phosphoric acid, which is very pertinent for the battery. So we can be fully focused on the LFP clients. And then we also had a mineralogical study from SGS Quebec. In the laboratories, we were able to get to a 40.2% pure phosphate, with the theoretical max of apatite being phosphate in apatite being 42%. So we get to a very high level of purity in our concentrate, and we're recovering over 91.4% of it, which is great. There are also secondary recoveries, very important ones, of titanium and iron. Signed an agreement with IPL, Integrals Power Limited, out of the UK. That is a group that is building their pilot plant to make LFP cathode active material and have a very special technology for making LFP cathode active material. So we would have access to that technology, and this group would also be homologating our purified phosphoric acid and potentially iron sulfate that derives from our ilmenite and our magnetite, that they would be homologating to their process, which would obviously make us the preferred ingredient of choice for their clients. What else? We also signed an agreement with the Conference of Prefects of the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean area, which gives us major project status in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean area and gives us access to the industrial resources of the area. We also recently did a private placement of $2 million. We oversubscribed that to $2.4 million. And our management also stepped up and bought out a major shareholder that was having some financial difficulties. So, where management has shown a great, solidarity and confidence to our shareholders, and has also consolidated a greater position in the company.
Let's talk about the LFP battery technology, John. How this will disrupt the electric vehicle market out there, and what are some challenges that we are facing?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting, Alp. They were predicting that LFP battery would be over 50% of the battery chemistries by 2030. Already in 2023, it looks like we've crossed 50%. LFP battery is really taking the industry by storm. I think many are not even conscious of it. What's happening is it's quickly becoming the battery of mass adoption. Most of the major producers of EVs in North America, Europe, and the rest of the world, especially it started in China, are moving to the LFP battery because it is safer. It's easier for it to charge and discharge. It's a great city driving vehicle. Obviously, the fire safety is very important, but also the low cost. It's about 50 to 66% cheaper in terms of the LFP cathode active material that goes into it with respect to the NMC battery. So they're using it to really lower the cost of the batteries, and it's starting a lot of price competition amongst the manufacturers. So really excited about the future of LFP here.
What are the next steps for First Phosphate?
Well, First Phosphate's got quite a runway ahead of it. We will be putting out a full corporate update here in the coming weeks, so you'll benefit from that. But basically, in the end, we continue to work to develop our deposits to move La Colorineal to its PEA. So hopefully that will be completed by the end of this year. We will continue drilling at Bégin-La-Marche and hopefully to prove up a resource to be able to put that property into 43-101. We're really excited about that at 75 kilometers from the port. Also, we're continuing to upgrade our recoveries of ilmenite and magnetite to be able to create iron sulfate and iron powder upon some customer requests to make that for LFP battery. And also, we are continuing to try and upgrade our ilmenite and magnetite deposits from our initial recoveries. And lastly, we're trying to move towards creating a larger pilot plant that will allow us to produce a large sample of phosphate concentrate that we can then send over to our partners at Prayon to make some samples of purified phosphoric acid, and eventually to be able to move that on to IPL, where they can make some LFP cathode active material, thereby on bench scale, culminating the whole process that goes from mine all the way to the creation of LFP cathode active material.
John, I want to end our conversation with a personal note. Can you please tell us, how did you come into the mining industry? What's your background?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I come into the mining industry from a technological background. When I looked at phosphate and the way it was being used for fertilizer, and I saw that the LFP battery was coming along, and that there was need for this technological material, and that it was not really being fulfilled in a proper way. So I came at it from the technology standpoint. I view phosphate as technological material, and I would like to leave our mark on it as creating the purest technological material, phosphate material for the LFP battery industry.
How can we learn more about First Phosphate?
Yeah, so you could go to our website. It's www.firstphosphate.com. And on there you'll find all of our presentation materials, website materials, and everything else. You check us on our ticker symbol, you'll find a lot of our news, which is PHOS, PHOS on the CSE, and KD0 on the Frankfurt Exchange, and that can also all be found on our website in the news area.